So, good day everyone. So, I'm Deck Cadet Malino Jundel. So, I'm here to share some details and understanding about the origins and manifestation of global environmental crisis. This environmental disaster is human caused. Change need to be made in the way we view risk. There are numerous effects on people, businesses, and ecosystem as a result of the global environmental threats posed by human activity. The Anthropocene is the current geological epoch in which humans are the primary driver of global change. A faster paced, more connected world is what the Anthropocene is known for, is characterized by an increasingly interconnected and accelerating world. The basic needs for health such as clean air, safe drinking water, enough food, and secure place to live are affected by climate change. Malnutrition, malaria, dengue, and many other major killers are highly climate sensitive and are predicted to get worse as the climate change. The areas least able to cope without assistance to prepare and response will be those with weak health structures, which is mostly in developing countries. Health can be improved by making better decisions regarding transportation, food, and energy use to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The environment has already seen the effects of global warming, such as smaller glaciers, earlier ice melt on rivers and lakes, more frequent droughts, and more intense extreme weather and shifting plant and animal ranges. Worldwide, people and wildlife risk a big future if appropriate measures are not taken to stop the burning of fossil fuels and reduce the amount of greenhouse gases emitted by human activities. Extreme weather will cause increasing societal disruption, including more frequent flooding and storms, severe droughts and heat waves, rising sea levels, and warming permafrost. In many areas, the lack of water and extreme heat will have a negative impact on agriculture. The effect on the environment will also be severe, with coral reefs suffering greatly as the ocean temperature rise and tropical forests suffering greatly as a result of the increase in fires. This effect will have a significant impact on the economy as well. World financial system will suffer greatly if we do nothing and keep going in this direction. Next is the main features of the environmental crisis. Climate change, one of the main worldwide environmental problems. Today is anthropogenic climate change, which is caused by greenhouse gases and other toxins polluting the atmosphere. It mostly results from the burning of fossil fuels, emission from farming and herding, and changes land use that come along with destroying, clearing, and burning forests. Next one is stratosphere ozone depletion. Another significant environmental problem is the loss of stratospheric ozone as a result of halocarbon pollution such as the chlorofluorocarbons. The lack of protective ozone at high altitudes cause higher levels of harmful solar ultraviolet radiation to reach the Earth's surface, which has a number of effects on human health and the environment. This is a serious concern. The next one is degraded air quality. Other types of air pollution are also important because they can seriously worsen local and regional air quality. About 1 billion of people will worldwide in the places with unhealthy levels of air pollution, mostly in industrial cities. The next one is degraded water quality. Pollutant contamination of water can cause a significant decline in water quality, which can have a number of negative implications on both the environment and human health, such as degradation of coral reefs, terrestrial runoff to inshore waterways, which occurs in many coastal places. It is a substantial contributor to water pollution because it can include significantly higher levels of phosphate and nitrogen from human settlements and agricultural land. The next one is scarcity of fresh water. The lack of fresh water for drinking in many parts of the world is caused by a variety of factors, many of which are related to ineffective practices for managing water resources. One such a factor is the pollution of freshwater sources from instant excessive river water withdrawal causes water shortage and salinization issues further downstream. The depletion of nearby with water supplies and the other salinization of irrigated land may both because of irrigation practices. The next one is land contamination. Chemical or radioactive pollution, particularly the introduction of long-lived persistent chemical species into the soil, result in the land contamination. Since contaminated land typically needs to be restored before it is safe to be used for construction, agriculture, or recreation, it can have profound ecological effects and severely restrict development. The next one is soil erosion and degradation. Although recent analysis of the issues with soil erosion and degradation have improved, it is still evident that this issue continue to have significant effects on both the productivity of agriculture and pastoral activities as well as the health of natural ecosystem. The next one is land use change and habitat loss. This issue cross over with other like deforestation, but they are more extensive and cover the clearing of forests for agriculture and pastoralism, the transformation of land during urban growth, the creation of new infrastructure like roads, the drainage of wetlands, and the removal and destruction of coastal mangrove forests. The next one is biodiversity loss. Due to disease outbreak, habitat loss and degradation, as well as the direct exploitations, many plant and animal species are in danger of going extinct. Threats to biodiversity are not limited to terrestrial ecosystem. Because of pollution, overfishing, and sea acidification, serious questions have been raised about the fate of marine and coastal wildlife species. So we need to be careful what we are doing right now.
Relate everyday encounters with pollution. There are 7 types of pollution: air, water, soil, noise, radioactive, light, and thermal. These are primary causes that affect our environment in many ways. All these types of pollution are interlinked and influence each other. Therefore, we need to tackle all of them together. Pollution disturbs our ecosystem's balance, affects our everyday lives, and gives rise to human illnesses and global warming. Pollution has reached its peak due to the development and modernization in our lives. It impacts every aspect of our environment, including both humans and animals alike. Our environment is constantly changing. There's no denying that fact. However, as our environment changes, so does the need to become increasingly aware of the problems that surround it. These issues must be solved for the world to remain a supportive habitat for humans and other species. Thank you.
Deck Cadet Ronald Julius B. Blanco, and I am here to report the global warming. Global warming is the long-term heating of Earth's surface observed since the pre-industrial period due to human activities, primarily fossil fuel burning, which increased heat trapping in greenhouse gas level in Earth's atmosphere. So, global temperature is expected to rise through the century, and blossoms of cyanobacteria in lake predicted to increase with the current level of global warming. The potential environmental, economic, and sanitation of the blooms have attracted consideration attention among the world scientific communities, water management agencies, and general public of particular concern in the worldwide. Greenhouse effect is the trapping of sun's warmth in a planet's lower atmosphere due to the greater transparency of the atmosphere. Visible radiation from the sun than to infrared radiation emitted from planet to surface. So global warming. or also known as the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is a process that occurs when energy from a planet host star goes through its atmosphere and heat the planet's surface, but greenhouse gases in the atmosphere prevent some of the heat from returning directly to space, resulting in a warmer planet. So in the next slide, you will see a diagram of greenhouse effect.
Hello, I'm gonna explain to you the global environmental crisis of the desertification and the ozone depletion. First is that desertification is a land degradation in arid, semi-arid, and the dry sub-humid areas, collectively known as the dry land, resulting from many factors, including human activities and the climatic variations. The second is the ozone depletion. This is a gradually thinning of Earth's ozone layer in the other upper atmosphere caused by the release of the chemical compounds containing gaseous, chlorine, or bromine from the industry and other human activities. Today I'm gonna give you the causes and the effects of the desertification and the ozone depletion. First is the causes of the desertification, and one is the overgrazing. Two, unsustainable agriculture techniques. Three is deforestation. Four is unsustainable water management. Five is the overpopulation and overexploitations of natural resources. Six is the climate change. And the effects of desertification is the soil becomes infertile, soil erosions get worse, increased by vulnerability to natural disasters, and extensions of species. And the next is the causes and effects of the ozone depletions. First is the causes of ozone depletion is the chlorofluorocarbons, unregulated rocket launches. 3 is the natural causes. And the effects of the ozone depletion is the effects of human health on animals and the environment and the marine lives. One of the most effective ways to combat the desertification is the efficient water management, saving, reusing of treated water, rainwater harvesting, desalinations, or direct use of seawater for salt-loving plants. And the solution to ozone layer depletion is a serious issue, and various programs has been launched by the government of various countries to prevent it. However, steps should be taken individually level as well to prevent the depletion of the ozone layer. First is to avoid using the ODS, which means the ozone depleting substances. The next is to minimize the use of vehicles. The vehicles emit a large amount of greenhouse gases that lead to global warming as well as the ozone depletions. Then the next is the use of eco-friendly cleaning products. And the last is the use of nitrous oxide should be prohibited.
Examine the policies and programs of governments around the world that address the environment crisis. UNEP, or United Nations Environment Program. So what are the policies and programs? So the United Nations Environment Program has 6 areas of concentration. So the first one is a climate change unit. Its purpose is to strengthen the ability of countries to integrate climate change responses by providing leadership in adaptation, mitigation, technology, and finance. UNEP is focusing on the facilitating the transitions to low-carbon societies, improving understanding of climate science. Next is the Post-Conflict and Disaster Management Unit. It conducts environmental assessment in crisis-affected countries and provides guidance implementing legislative and institutional frameworks for improved environmental management. Next on the list is the ecosystem management. So it facilitates management and restoration of ecosystem in a manner of consistent with sustainable development and promotes use of ecosystem services. Examples include the Global Program of Actions for the Protection of the Marine Environment from the land base. Next is the Environmental Governance Units. It supports government in establishing, implementing, and strengthening the necessary process institutions, laws, policies, and programs to achieve sustainable development at the counter-regional and global levels, and mainstreaming environment in development planning. Next on the list is harmful substance unit. So it strives to minimize the impact of harmful substance and hazardous waste on the environment and human beings. So UNIP has launched negotiations for a global agreement on mercury and implements project on mercury and a strategic approach to international chemicals management to reduce risk to human health and environment. Next and the last is the resource efficiency, sustainable consumption, and production unit. It focuses on regional and global efforts to ensure natural resources are produced, processed, and consumed in a more environmentally friendly way. For example, the Marrakech process is a global strategic strategy to support the elaboration for 10 years framework of programs and sustainable consumption and productions. So that's all for my report. Thank you.
So, good day everyone. I'm Kent Harvey Yamambak. So, I'm going to report about what is the relationship of population to environmental success. First, we're going to talk about the population. So, population typically refers to the number of people in a single area, whether it be a city or a town, region, country, continent, or the world. Government typically quantify the size of the resident population within their jurisdiction using a census, a process of collecting, analyzing, compiling, and publishing data regarding a population. So, the next one will be the forest. We all know when the population rise, the most affected will be the forest. So, forests have been affected by human populations, of course, as people have drawn more heavily on forest resources or have cleared forests for the purpose of agriculture. So most of the world's forests have already been removed. There are 6.7 million square miles of forest. At least originally 60% of that have been removed, and a lot of what was to create pasture land to graze animals. So land use change, most of it driven by population pressure, is mainly to blame, not only in terms of creating new residential zones, but in terms of the exploding demand for food, particularly as countries become wealthier. Protein, that means more grazing land required to support beef primarily, and other types of protein like chicken and pork are being closed. So the relationship between population and environment will be the increase in demand. So a growing population helps economy by creating an increase in demand as world economies respond to demand dynamics, which have a heavily population and youth influence. There is also a tendency for happiness index to increase with increased economic success. That's all, and thank you.
Good day, everyone. I'm Decadet Kenneth Manyakap. I'm here in front of you to discuss what is the relationship of population growth to food security. Population growth is the increase in the number of humans on Earth. For most of human history, our population size was relatively stable. But with innovation and industrialization, energy, food, water, and medical care became more available and reliable. Consequently, global human population rapidly increased and continues to do so, with dramatic impacts on global climate and ecosystems. We will need technological and social innovation to help us support the world's population as we adapt to and mitigate climate and environmental changes. Food security is the measure of an individual's ability to access food that is nutritious and sufficient in quantity. Some definitions of food security specify that food must also meet an individual's food preferences and dietary needs for active and healthy lifestyles. Availability simply refers to the existence of food within a community. This is closely linked to the efficiency of food production. Food security is the measure of an individual's ability to access food that is nutritious and sufficient in quantity. Some definitions of food security specify that food must also meet an individual's food preferences and dietary needs for active and healthy lifestyles. Availability simply refers to the existence of food within a community. This is closely linked to the efficiency of food production.
Sustainability entails addressing our own demands without jeopardizing the future generations' ability to meet their own, aligning how it meets human needs with its capability to do so in the near future without negativity impacting the natural environment. Sustainability provides countless benefits to businesses and individuals. As individuals, there are always changes we can make to live more sustainability while saving money. Things like repurposing, recycling, and reusing items at home can provide easily sensible and environmentally responsible options. Sustainability doesn't help the environment, but it is vital to the future of the planet. Sustainability from individuals, communities, and corporations allow us to slow down the damage we do to the environment. So there are three pillars of the sustainabilities. First, environment. Second, economy. Third, society. When we talk about environmental sustainability, the ecological integrity is preserved and all of the Earth's environment systems are kept in balance while natural resources within them are utilized at the rate that allows them to regenerate themselves. Here are some of the examples. Second, economic sustainabilities. All across the world, human communities are able to remain independent and have access to the material and human resources they need to meet their requirements while finding ways to minimize damage to natural world and making use of the Earth's resources in suitable way or sustainable way. Examples of it are growth, profits, and economic health. Lastly is social sustainability. Social sustainability, human rights and basic necessities are accessible to all people who have the necessary resources to keep their families and communities healthy and secure. Healthy communities have just leaders to ensure that personal labor, and cultural rights are honored that all individuals are treated fairly, protected from discriminations.
Good day, sir. I am Rodrigo Bilantixi III, and I am here to represent my topic about the development of globalization. First, there are three kinds of development globalization: the economic, and the political, and the cultural. So, the economic globalization development is programs, policies, or activities that seek to improve the economic well-being and equality of life for a community. What economic development means to you will depend on the community you live in. Each community has its own opportunities, challenges, and priorities. And the political economy and development track studies how the interplay between the economic system, politics, and institution allocates resources and generates incentives. Topics include market, poverty, welfare, inequality, taxation, and etc. And the cultural development is those we define cultural development as the process of enabling cultural activities including the arts towards the realization and desired future and particularly rich and vibrant community. So it means if our globalization is getting developed, it means the community is is rich and vibrant. If our globalization is development or develop, our life will make easier and it makes our life comfortable. That's it, sir, and good luck and God bless. That's all, sir. Thank you.
What is the relationship of population growth to the future of globalization? Population growth positively affects the future of globalization. As the population increases, demands and the production of goods and services also increase, which may benefit everyone as it would make the prices lower. But on the other side of the spectrum, there are also negative effects of population growth on future globalization. Globalization promotes and advocates the integration of advancement technologies in our lives, creating different factories, for example, and a wide range of technological advancements that can cater to the needed supply for the population. This can hardly impact the environment, which is the main source of supply for the goods that we produce. The pollution that the factories release would probably affect the health of the people, which can cause a problem. The size, growth, and the age structure of national populations also affect globalization. Population change influences the movement of people, products, and investment capital among countries. Favorable changes in the population age structure also have a positive influence on economic growth. Thus, focusing on the relationship between the two, we can say that it brings a positive impact, but it risks the well-being of not just the population, but also the environment that we live in.